Thank you. So I want to believe that we all have our tablet opened. If not, I'll just go over the process again, because I believe we that are here are those that have their tablet downloaded and installed everything. So to open our visualization, we should go to File, then open from Tablet Public. Then we search for the particular visualization we are looking for. For example, this is mine. After I might have opened it, then I'll say open. That way I will have my visualization opened. So do we all have our visualization open? If we do, kindly type yes in the chat box so that I know we are following and we're on the same page. All guys, are we together? Okay, I'll go over that again as requested. I said, once you have your tablet open in the previous interface, click on File, then you would see Open from Tablet Public. This option, Open from Tablet Public. Once you click on Open from Tablet Public, once you open from Tablet Public, you would be asked to sign in. And once you sign in, you will pick the particular visualization you want to work with or you want to work on. So that's just it. Select File, open from Tablet Public, select your visualization, and open it. Thank you.
I don't have Tableau downloaded or opened at all. Is it easier if I just watch you for now and then after the call I'll download it?
Yes, it's fine. We can do that. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, I want to believe we all have that done. Okay, so tonight we'll be working on another type of visualization, especially the bar chart, no, the pie chart and the donut chart. I hope I'm able to cover this in the next 25-30 minutes, so that those that have issues with their Tableau, we can probably look for a way to settle it. If not, it's fine. So the previous weeks, we started with Tableau itself. We entered into the different definitions of items, and we loaded our data. We created an hierarchy, the item hierarchy. We created the location hierarchy, and we moved in some of the fields. We moved them into location and item. And then we started our first visualization, which is sales by category. And we talked about the different categories we have in the business. And then we tried to format the visualization a bit. Although we didn't format the whole thing, but we just showed a bit of formatting, like the amount on each bars. That's one of the formatting we did. And then the following week, we went into profits by categories. Same way we visualized our sales by category. And then we tried to, we put the profit in sizes to show how big the size is. Will determine how big the profit is, will determine how big the bar chart will be. So tonight, let's open another new worksheet. The worksheet icon is just beside the previous visualization we have. So once we click, we should have a new Canva open, just like this. So tonight we want to visualize pie chart simply to show the different sales range in terms of pie. So what pie chart does for us is to show the percentage of sales, the percentage of profit in different regions, in different places. And this will give the stakeholders, to show them a kind of visualization that shows the sales level or the profit level in each of the region in which they are running their business or their businesses, so to say. So to visualize the pie chart, if we come to this drop down button that has automatic under our marks, if we select it, we would see automatic bar, line, area, square, circle, shape, pie, Gantt, bar, polygon, and density. These are the different types of bars we can have. These are the different types of visualization we can have. We can have bar, we can have line, we can have area, and we need to understand that all of these, what's it called? All of this information or all of these visualizations, they have times when we are supposed to use them. They have time when we are supposed to use them. So for the purpose of this class, we'll be visualizing the pie. So the first thing we want to do, the very first thing, is to change this automatic to pie. We change our marks. We change our marks to pie. Change it to pie. After we change our marks to pie, then for example, let's bring our region. Let's bring region to color. Region is under location. So let's bring region to color. So one thing Tablet does for you is it recognizes what you're trying to do. So, and it knows that the region information has 4 regions: the west, east, south, and north, as the case may be. So once you bring in our region to color, then we can change the screen size. Now, to change our screen size, we would see something like standard here. It's simply indicating the size of the screen. So we want to change the size of the screen. Let's change it to entire view. Once we might have changed it to entire view, the pie chart comes to the middle. It occupies the entire Canva. So now another thing is, if we want to select or if we want to reduce the size of our pie, we can come to size. You see this button here, you can either make it big or you can either make it small, and we can make it to be medium size as well. Now, one thing we want to do is this. We want to know the angle of the pie in relation to sales. If we want to know the angle of the pies, in relation to sales, because we are dealing with data of sales and profit. Now, one of the things we can do is, since we are working with sales, we can actually bring sales to angle. If we drop sales on angle, let's see what it will do. We would see that the pie has actually changed. It has changed in relation to the sales amount. If we look at it, if I Ctrl Z it, we'd see it's in 4 equal halves, and it's just showing west, central, south, west, central, east, south. Now, if we now bring our sales to angle, we can see that the angle has changed, and the angle with the highest sales is west, and west is the bigger. So it automatically divides the pie based on the different region sales amount, based on the different sales amount from the region. So now, if I will ask us to answer a question, let's say 2 or 3 people amongst us here, we are 28, or let's say we are 25 or 26. What else can we do on this pie chart? What other information can we add to this pie to make this visualization more meaningful? If you have any idea, you can sharply unmute and say 1 or 2 things. Anybody? Yes, we can label it. Yeah, we can label it. Label it with what exactly? What are we labeling it with? We have lots of information here. What do we want to label it with? Yes, we can actually change the sales to show percentage. Yes, we can do that.
We can let it be in 3D form.
What?
3D form.
You're not very clear, please.
Okay, I mean, we can let it be in 3D form. I mean the shape of each.
To be in 3D form.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it can be in 3D form when we get to the dashboard, but that is not really answering my question. My question is, now, this is what this visualization is looking like. This is what it is looking like. Somebody said we can label it by percentage. Yes, we can do that. Somebody said name some percentage. Yes, we can do that. Somebody said profit. Well, if we want to visualize profit on its own, we can visualize profit on its own, and as well we can add profit to the detail to show on each of the bars the sales amount and the profit amount, or the sales percentage and the profit percentage. All of that can be done. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you very much for your replies. They are very, very correct. Now, one of the things we want to do is to bring our region to, let's bring region to label. Let's bring region to label the visualization. Yes, we just labeled it with the information inside the region field. Now, another thing is we can bring sales under label as well. Since we are working with sales, let's bring sales under label. So what will it do? It will just go ahead and label the different regions that we have. So, but instead of leaving the sales like this, we can leave it in percentage. So how do we go about that? How do we go about that? So we want to change the sales amount to percentage. We want to change it to percentage. So what we'll just do is we'll select the sum cells and we'll do a quick calculation, and we'll select percentage of total. Do a percentage of total. However, we can format this visualization. We can format it. We can go ahead and format it. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to format. Okay, yeah, to change the sales to percentage, what we will do is, you see, from this sum sales, which is under the label, the sum sales which is under the label, if you right click on it, you'll see something like quick calculation, quick table calculation. You would see quick table calculation. Then we'd select percentage of total. I'll take that again. From the sum sales that we put under our label, if you right click on it, if you click on this drop down, you would see quick table calculation. Or if you right click on it, you would see quick table calculation. And if you select the quick table calculation, you would see different information like moving average, percentile rank, percent of total, percent difference running total. But what we need is percent of total, even if we will still do the moving average. But for now, we would be needing the percent of total. So if you select the percent of total, it will change to percentage. However, we don't need the 2 decimal points behind the percentage. So then the next thing we'll do is to format our visualization by right-clicking just the normal way. If you right-click, and then you would see format. If you right-click on the visualization, you click on format. If you say format, then we'll come to the field and select which information do we want to format. So if you select the fields and say percentage of total sales, for example, if we select it, we should have something like this. Now, the first thing I want to do is select the font type. The font type, yes. Let's say we use W semi-bold, and we select a more darker shade, and I say okay. But as we can see, at times when you try to format your visualization, you will see that the formatting is not taking effect. These things happen very well in Tableau. So you need to be very careful and watch what you are doing while you are formatting, or while you are working on your visualization. So what we want to do is we want to look for information concerning our percentage of sales. So if I select it and come back, so I'll just look for, okay, since it's not working here, I'll just go back to the workbook itself. So just hold on for a minute. Let me go back to the workbook itself and format from there. Now you'd see something like A. It simply means the workbook itself. And here, if you would see worksheets, pane, header, tooltip, and so on and so forth. But what we need is actually the pane. We want to work on the pane. So if you select the pane and change the font, for example, you would see that it is taking effect. And if I select a darker shade, and let's say I want to increase the font, we can see that all of these things, it's worked now. We can see the shade has increased. So at times when you're trying to format a particular visualization and it's not really working, it's not giving you what you want, or the visualization is not taking effect, what you can do is go under the worksheet itself. If you select the A icon, if you select it, it will bring you under the default settings. So you don't have to do anything under the worksheet, because that's not what you want. But the worksheet will affect the whole of your workbook, but you want to visualize from your pane. The pane simply means this particular sheet, this particular Canva you are working on. So if you select the font size or font color, whatever, it should take effect now. So now then the next thing is we want to change the numbering. We want to change the numbering. So if I go back to field and select percentage of some sales, I would come to numbers. If I come to numbers, just as we did the last time. Now, this time around, we want to use percentage. This time around, we want to use percentage. So if you select percentage, if you select the percentage, so what we want to do is, if you see the numbers, if you click on it, you would see that Sylvia, I'll come back to you. You would see that we have decimal places. And just as I mentioned the last time, we want to remove the two decimal places behind those behind the main figure. Ranging from or starting from the what's it called? Starting from the font. Yes, I'll take it back. So Sylvia, please pay attention. I'll take it again. Now, I said, I believe you got it up to where we put our region on label. So I will remove some sales from label now and take it from there. So I've removed some sales. It means the only thing I have now is region, some sales, and region. I'll take region out again to go back a bit. So the first thing we did was we brought in we changed our marks to pie, then we brought in region to color, and at the same time we brought in some sales to label. After bringing some sales to label, we asked ourselves questions like, what else can we do to this pie chart? So what more can we do on this pie chart? Then we brought region to label. We brought region to label the visualization. Then we decided to bring our sales to label as well, to label each of those regions. Then we said, okay, we don't want to have monetary values. We just want percentage. Because we want percentage, it means we have to go and change our sales from amount to percentage. So what we did was we right-click on some sales that is here. The one you dropped on label, we right-clicked on it and we said we want to do a quick table calculation. Excuse me, want to do a quick table calculation to change this from figure to percentage. Then after clicking or right-clicking on some sales, we we selected quick table calculation. Once we selected it, then we click percent of total. Percent of total. That way it changes it from monetary value to percentage. Then we said that we don't want the 2 decimal places behind the main information. So we went further to format our visualization, and like I said, right click on any of the pie or any part of the visualization, then you select format. Then we selected format and we try to select the percentage of total sums field. Like I said, you have to select any field you want to visualize so that you don't visualize blindly. So having selected the percentage of total sales or percent of total sum sales, which is what we want to visualize, we realized that we were unable to change the font size, the font, everything here. You see, I tried changing the font size, the font type rather. I changed it, but it's not taking effect. I then said, when we have issues like this, then we go to the worksheet. This A, it indicates worksheet. Now, if you select this A, you would see it has font. It has font. If you select it, we would see the worksheet, the worksheet font, the pane font, the header font, and every other font that there is. So if you select the pane indicates just this particular worksheet. Okay, how we brought region and sales to label. Hold on, I'll get to that. So you just come to region under your category. You drag and drop. For example, you carry it just like this. You hold your cursor down, you carry it, then you drop it. Okay? You carry it, and you drop it. So that's how you can move it. Then you go to your sales. You carry it also, drop it on label. But because we have sales on label already, I wouldn't do that since it's on label already. So I'll just Ctrl Z it. So back to our formatting, right click, format. We have selected the field, but we can see it's not working. So we have to go to the font. The font will show us all the fonts in this particular worksheet and workbook. But what we want to the font we want to change is the pane. Once you select the pane, you select your font size or your font type. If I change it now, we would see that it is taking effect. If I try to change it, we'll see it is taking effect. But what I usually use or what I prefer is W semi-bold for me, but for you can be something else. And you can decide to give it a color if you want. If you want, you can bold it if you want. You can increase the font if you want. So for the sake of this class, I'll leave it like this, or I can just leave it at black. Yes. So having done this, I want to reduce or remove the 2 decimal places behind the percentages. So what I'll do is, first thing first, I'll come back to my field, click on the drop down, then select percentage of total sum sales. Once I select it, it will give me number. We'll see something like number. If I select the number, I would see percentage because that's what I want to work with. Now, if I select percentage, the only thing I'll say is 2 decimal places. If I want 2 decimal places, or if I want to increase the 2 decimal places, if I want to increase it, this is more like if you want to do rounding off, but we don't need all that. So I'll just say 0. I'm not interested in the 2 decimal places, and I click out of it. Once I click out of it, I can then close my font pane, and that is it. And then another thing I can do to this visualization is I can come to color and do opacity. I can do borders. For example, I can change the border to white. So you would see that the border has the white is showing, and it has separated even the bars, or the pie, sorry, it has separated the pie to something like this. You can see that it has separated the pies, giving it a white border. So just like this, we have visualized a normal pie chart. And I can go ahead to change the name to pie chart percentage if I want. I can leave it like that. And if I want to format the pie chart, the heading, I can just double click and highlight the sheet name and do whatever I want to do. If I want to do it by maybe selecting another font type, or the font size, or the font color, or whatever or even if I want to justify it maybe to the center, and once I say apply and okay, everything should be fine. Everything should be fine. So having done this, I want to show us the next visualization we want to visualize is the donut chart. We know that the donut chart is quite different from the pie chart, and it is what data analysts use most of the time rather than a pie chart. But we need to go through the process of visualizing a pie chart before going to a donut chart. Now, is there any question, or I can move on because I have 20 more minutes to conclude this class? Okay, I want to believe there is no question.
Hello, sir.
Okay,
Hello,
you are not very audible.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, thanks for the class, sir. My own question may not be pertaining to this evening. The question I want to ask is that how can we get the previous video about the tutorials?
Okay, it will be addressed after the class. Don't worry. Don't worry. It will be addressed after the class.
All right, sir. Thanks.
Okay, moving on to visualize the donut chart. This one is a bit tricky, so we need to be very, very attentive. So let's open another new worksheet, just as we used to. Open a new worksheet. Now, the donut chart is a bit tricky, but we will do it. So please, let's pay attention, because it's not as it's very simple, but not as simple as the pie chart. So the first thing we want to do is we want to bring our region to rows. Yes, we have region to rows. Then we want to bring our sales to columns. Okay. Now, since we have it this way, then we'll now come to our marks here. You know, we changed the previous pie chart. We changed it to pie. So let's go ahead and change, or better still, just to show us what we just did the previous in the previous sheet. If I select, don't bother changing this to pie. If I select pie from this show me area, you will see something like show me here. If I select pie and I change the distance to the view to entire view, although this is another method of creating the pie chart that we just finished doing. This is the simplest way of doing it. but it is very okay that we go through the steps one after the other. Okay. So then after we might have done this, then we can now put our region to our what's it called? Our region to label, then our sales to label, and so on and so forth, just as we did the previous pie chart. However, so to visualize the donut chart, there is something called calculated field. Calculated field is they are more like calculation. They are places where they are calculations you create in Tableau. So now the first thing we want to do is, how do we go about creating a calculated field? Now you can come to, for example, you can right click on any of these measures just below. Don't forget, I told us that the above information from your customer ID to ship mode or to measure names, they are dimensions, and from your discount to your measure values, they are measures. And I said dimensions they are more like information, quantitative data, and your measures, they are more of calculation, calculations. So we want to create a new calculation now. Once it is called calculated field. So to create our calculated field, you can right click on any of the measures below. If you right click on it, you would see where is it? Where is our calculated field? Okay, you can click on, there's a drop down just right here. You can right click on it, or you can click on it. Once you click on it, you'll see create calculated field. You'll see create calculated field. That is one way to create calculated field. Another way to create calculated field, you can click on any of these measures below. If you right click on it, you would see create. If you see create, you see calculated field. Or the third way to create a calculated field is by right clicking on a what's it called, on an empty space. If you right click, you will see create calculated fields. So I just showed us 3 ways to create calculated fields. Number one is from the button above here. If you click on it, you see create calculated field. From any of the measures below, if you right click and select create, you see calculated field. You can then click on an empty canvas, right click, you see create calculated field. So for the purpose of this class, I'll just select my from above here and select a calculated field. I say create calculated field. Now, so this calculated field, let's call it 0. Now, for a calculated field, you must give it a name, and you must write in your whatever calculations you want to create or you want to calculate. You must write it inside the field. So now, I'll just put 0 inside the field. Once I put 0, Tableau will tell me the calculation is valid. If the calculation is not valid, it would show a pop-up. But since the calculation is valid, let's say apply, we'll say apply, and we'll say okay. Now we will see that our 0 is here. Our 0 is here. And for any calculated field you create, you would see an equal to sign right in front of it. You would see an equal to sign right in front of it. So we have created our 0. Okay. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to work with this our 0. So we just drop our 0 on rows. Let's drop our 0 on rows. You should have something like this. Should have something like this. Then we'll come to our max. We'll select pi. We'll select pi just as we did the other time. We should see something like this. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to duplicate this sum 0. Now if you hold your control and click on it, click and hold on the sum 0 and then move it, it will duplicate automatically. Okay, I'll take that again. We moved our sum 0. We moved it here since we created it, and then we change our max to pi. Yes. Then I said, if you hold on control, press it down, then hold and drag the sum 0. Just hold and drag it. You can see if you hold and drag it, you should be able to drop it in the same row. Just drop it beside it. Then it should duplicate just like this. If we're on the same page, please let me know. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? Okay. I want to believe we're on the same page. Now, we would see that in our max pane, we would see that we have some 0, some 02, some 0, some 02. It simply means the first 0 and the second 0 because we have duplicated it. So we must have 2 zeros. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do now is, if you select your first pie chart, you would see that automatically your first sum 0 will go up. It will come up. The second one will still be down. So whatever you do on this sum 01 will affect this first pie chart. Whatever you do on sum 02, mind you, before you do anything on either of the zeros, you need to click on it from the max pane. If you click on it, it will get activated. Now, if you select all means you are working on the two of them at the same time. So if I want to work on sum 01, all I need to do is click on it. If you click on the sum on the pi itself, it will get activated. So you can either click from here or you can click on the sum 0 from the max pane itself. Okay. Now, the first thing we want to do is, since we have our first sum 0 activated, we want to bring in our, want to bring in our region to color, just as we did the other time. Bring region to color. Region to color. Region is on color, like that. Region is on color. Now, let us bring our sales to angle. Let us bring our sales to angle. Our sales, let's bring sales to angle. Sales to angle. We are still working in the first pie. Sales to angle. Now let's change the border to white, just as we did the other time. All you need to do is click on the color. Click on the color and we can work on it. Let's click on the color from here. If you click on the color, then we can select a border color to be white. Once we have that, we say okay, we'll click out of it. Okay, so we want to change, want to bring our sales to label, just as we did the other time. Bring sales to label. Then we can now change our sales to percentage. We'll right click on sales. We'll do quick table calculation, percent of total, just as we did the other time. Okay. Then we can now format the first visualization by clicking on or right clicking on it. Then we'll say format. What I'll just do is I'll just change the the percentage, I'll just remove the 2 decimal places. Now, if you look at the fields here, you would see sum 0, sum sales, percentage of total sums. But what do I want to work on? I want to work on the percentage of total sums. I want to change the percentage just as we did the other time. I want to change it to 0. Yes. And then I can quickly come to the font, which is the A, to change the font size or the font type to tablet semi-bold. I can increase it to, okay, I've bolded it and selected a particular color for it. So I'm good to go. We've removed the decimal. Then we have formatted it a bit. So here we have it, just like this. Then we can bring our region to label, just as we did the other time. Bring our region to label. Region to label. We are still in the first pie. So once we bring our region to label, the next thing we want to do is we want to now select the second pie. You click on it. Click on the second pie. Now we want to change the color to white. Click on color, then change it to white. It would disappear, but it is there. It will disappear, but it is there. Okay. We've changed the color to white. Then you can select the border too. Where is the border? You can select the border to white as well. Now, having done this, we want to dualize the two angles together. Now we can change our screen size to, let's say, entire view, for example, or we can say fit height, or we can say fit width. Okay, but let's do entire screen. Now, what we want to do now is we want to merge the two of them together to make one. So what we would now do is you come to the first sum 0. You would see a drop down right in front of it. You see a drop down right in front of it. You see a drop down right in front of it. Now click on the drop down. If you click on the drop down, you will see, where is it? You would see dual axis. You will see dual axis. Let's see. You should see dual axis. Dual axis. Let's see. Let's see dual axis. Dual axis. Dual axis. I'm trying to look for the dual axis. Dual axis, dual axis. Okay, I've sent the dual axis. It is supposed to be on the sum 0. Okay. So let's click on the first, the one right in front, the sum 0, the one right in front. If you click on the drop down, you would see dual axis. If you see, you click on dual axis. Once you click on dual axis, the axis will come into each other. Everything will get dualized. Everything will get dualized. Are we able to dual our axis? So once you click on dual axis, then come to your first sum zero, click on it, come to size, and increase the size. Come to your first sum zero under your marks, click on it, click on size, and increase the size. Increase the size. You should have something like this. Do we all have something like this? Do we have something like this? So we should have something like this. And when we hover our cursor on it, it should show us one or two information. Do we have same thing? Are we on the same page? We should have something. Do we have something like this? So I believe we have something like this. So this way, we have successfully created a donut chart. A donut chart. We've successfully created a donut chart. You can increase it if you want. You can increase it if you want. You can increase it if you want, you know, but I'll just leave mine like this. And this way we have successfully created a donut sales percentage. Yeah, a donut sales percentage. So with this, I'll be rounding up tonight's class. Rounding up tonight's class here. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask. If you have any question, if not, I believe I'm done. But then for our visualization, we can remove all of this, all of this, all of this. We can click on the zero. You can right click on this zero and say show header. It should go off. All of these lines, you can remove everything from your format. If you right click and you say format and come to lines, if you say zero lines, none, you'll see that the thin middle line has actually left. This middle line, if you say none, the zero lines has gone off, and then we can increase our chart a bit if you want. Just like that, you can leave it, and we can increase our font size, the percentage and everything. And also we can even move the west to the top, move the percentage down. How do we go about that? You just have to come to your mark, then select the sum sales label. Now, if you look at the front of all of this information, you see a triangle or shape, then color. They are indicating the steps you've taken in this visualization. They are indicating the steps you've taken in this visualization. So the T simply means region is on label, some sales is on label, some sales is on angle again, region is on color. So you can just move the region, for example, move it above sales, and that way the west comes up, the percentage comes down. So that's how you can move in between your visualization. I hope I'm not too fast with that, but you can simply move it. I'll Ctrl Z that. I'll do that again. You can move it. Once you hold and drag and try to move, once you move it above sales, you would see a tiny orange-like color showing the spots where you want to drop it. It's more like an angle, something like that. You would see it in between the label and the sum sales that is on angle. So once you drop it, it should just be like this. So with this, we have come to the end of today's class, and then we can format it just the way we want for the purpose of how we want it, or for whatever I want to use it for. So then to save our work, we can go back to our file, save to Tableau Public, or you can simply do Ctrl+S. Because I'm logged in, if I do Ctrl+S, this is what I would have. This is the result. It would save to server, and then it will go online just like this. Just like this. So then I can come back to my Tableau, but that's what it will look like when you try to save. But for those of us that might be saving for the first time, do File, do Save As to Tableau Public As. Then you save it, you would be requested to log in, and you give it a name and all of that, and that is it. So for the purpose of tonight, thank you very much. That will be all.